Hi everybody, welcome to another Chats with Children. I hope you're safe and well. It's a Monday afternoon here in Surrey, and I'm delighted to be joined by Dr. Jason Teckoe, who is the Technical Director, EMEA for Colorcon. And today is actually a second part of a series that I started last week with Colorcon, where we're looking at the posters they're presenting at the upcoming 12th Annual PBP World Meeting, which actually starts tomorrow. And I did an interview last week, if you missed it, with Gökçehan, talking about 5 posters she was doing. And today Jason is going to talk about some of the posters he's presenting this week as well. So Jason, lovely to see you. How are you?
I'm very well, Rizwan. How are you, mate?
I'm very well. So I understand you're in the office today. So where is the office?
Yeah, the office, we're just on the south bank of the Dartford, on the River Thames up here, in just outside London. Yep.
Fantastic. Well, hopefully it's sunny. It's sunny here, but it's getting cloudy and windy where I am in Cheam today. So hopefully it won't reach you where you are down in Dartford. So, right. So you've got 2 posters this week. One is entitled Product Stability Enhancement Using Starch 1500 as an Excipient to Help Enhance the in-use stability of a moisture-sensitive tablet, ranitidine, and the second on the use of novel molecular tagans as a means of enabling on-tablet identification, thus protecting the patient from counterfeit pharmaceutical products. I know you've got one more as well, which we'll talk about at the end, but those are the 2 actually which we're going to sort of cover topic-wise today, correct?
That's correct, and they are quite a mouthful. I appreciate that.
Posters always are, but no, that's fantastic. So before we start talking about the content of those posters and the issues those posters bring up, perhaps you could tell people who are not familiar with Colorcon just a quick overview and also a little bit about your own background.
Oh, sure. So Colorcon is a global supplier of pharmaceutical excipients and coatings to the pharmaceutical dietary supplement markets as well. I've been with the company 14 years. About half of that was spent in the US working in the global headquarters, and a half now here in the UK working for the European, Middle East and Africa region of Colorcon. I'm a chemist by training, and a polymer chemist specifically, and I've been working on sort of solid oral dose formulations for probably 25 years now, so quite a while.
Brilliant. All right, let's start this. The first question I've got for you is, how can excipients and coatings help to reduce the risk of moisture affecting API stability?
Oh, great question. So I'll start off with moisture is all around us, everywhere we are, and it can impact, especially if it's raining outside, and it can impact, things like the drug substance assay, the degradants, the impurities, and also the physical properties of a tablet. It can lead to swelling or cracking. And whilst you can control that during engineering controls in the manufacture or use of desiccants or packaging, once it's past production, once it's out in the real world, it's taken out of that packaging and placed into, for instance, a tablet dispenser. There's nothing else there to protect it from the outside world. So, sometimes people have used these tablet dispensers to contain maybe a week's worth of medication. They can be kept in the kitchen drawer or in the bathroom cabinet, where obviously if you're cooking or having a shower, the humidity can go up and down, and that can vary considerably. So what's really important in that situation is, if you're having this sort of polypharmacy, this multiple dosing, and you're keeping it in a container, that you have a really robust tablet formulation. And that's when the coating or the core formulation itself can be really important to help improve that stability. Right. So the first poster I'm going to talk about is this one of my Starch 1500 is a great excipient. It has brilliant moisture scavenging functionality, so that you can use that to help protect the drug substance from the environment. It's also as a binder and as a disintegrant, depending on the formulation needs. So this poster talks, as you mentioned, about ranitidine. Ranitidine is a moisture sensitive drug, and we look at the a marketed product that's based on microcrystalline cellulose as a core formulation, and we essentially replaced half of the MCC with Starch 1500. Took those tablets, compressed them, put them on storage at accelerated stability conditions, 40 degrees C, 75% humidity for 14 days. And then we measured the assay and the impurity levels. And essentially the study showed that the tablets that contained Starch 1500 had much better appearance and better assay and less impurity than the marketed product based purely on MCC.
Right. I mean, one question as a layperson, how much impact does moisture have then on the efficacy of a tablet? I know it's going to vary from tablet to tablet, but what is sort of the impact that moisture does have on a tablet?
Moisture is really interesting. I mean, obviously, as you say, each tablet, each drug substance will have its own impacts. Some will be more sensitive to moisture in terms of chemical change. Some will be sensitive to physical change, whether it's a amorphous solid dispersion to a crystalline form. But it's not just about that. It's also about the way that moisture can interact. So some core formulations you might look at, for instance, the loss on drying, the amount of moisture physically in the dosage form as part of the analysis. Whereas actually, it's perhaps more interesting to look at the activity or the availability of that moisture to interact. So water activity is a measure of how freely available moisture is to interact with different parts of the formulation. Right. So, if you use water activity versus loss on drying, you get a different perspective on, yes, there might be moisture there, but that moisture is bound or attached or not freely available to migrate and cause problems with the dosage form.
Right. Okay. So you mentioned about good excipient selection can help enhance product efficiency or efficacy, I should say, sorry. But what about patient acceptance? There are some pretty nasty tasting drug substances out there. I remember as a child having some horrible medicines. So how can we help the patient take the medicine?
Yeah, I think we've all had those experiences over the years. And actually, it's really kind of complicated because there are several aspects that affect patient acceptance. The appearance of the tablet, its size, its shape, the color, how uniform that color might be. But as you mentioned, taste is a major issue. And so taste masking is important to make sure that the product is as palatable as possible. And you can achieve that in different ways. You can simply add sweeteners or flavors to help mask that taste, or you could use things like a barrier membrane coating, such as on our sure-release, to help protect the substance so it doesn't release in the mouth, it releases lower down in the GI tract. Or you consider binding the drug to, for instance, an ion exchange resin. So that enables, again, that the drug becomes bound. It's not freely available to interact with the taste receptor, so you don't have that bad taste effect. And then, of course, the next part you would think about, so you've got the drug, you've got people, the appearance, they like it, they've masked the taste, then you still got to swallow it. So if you have a larger tablet, right, and some of the issues can be, applying, a coating that can help improve the swallowability or the slipperiness of that coating when it becomes in contact with saliva. And so that's where one of our other products called OpaDry EZ it comes into play, because that actually enhances the slippery nature of the surface. So when it's in the mouth, it becomes wet, becomes slippery, and it's hopefully easier to swallow.
Yeah, well, I did a demo with that at CPHI in Frankfurt a couple of years ago, and I did see how slippery the tablet became actually with that on it. So it does make a massive difference. So we've talked about how to enhance stability and to help patients take the medicine, but how do they know they are taking the right medicine?
That's another great question. So identification and counterfeiting. I mean, we have our brand enhancement service, which is all about identifying colors and shapes to give unique appearances. But anti-counterfeiting is a major problem to the pharma industry. There was a World Health Organization report that estimated between 2006 and 2017 around 10.5% of medicines in low to middle income countries were actually either substandard or falsified, accounting for a loss of nearly $30 billion in terms of legitimate sales of the drugs products. So to help industry counter this problem, the Food and Drug Administration in the US issued a guidance in 2019 on the incorporation of physical chemical identifiers, or PCIDs, in solid oral dose products and for anti-counterfeiting. And Colorcon has been looking in this area for quite a while, and we have an on-dose authentication platform that's called Soteria RX, which uses, in this case, a DNA-based molecular tag as a covert PCID, so physical chemical identifier. And these DNA tags basically offer the opportunity to give a unique identifier code that acts a bit like a molecular barcode, enabling identification of that particular dosage form. And the poster I'll present at PBP will cover, looking at this technology to demonstrate how enabled identification, when you compare it to normal appearance or gloss or color perspectives. And this particular technique can basically demonstrate that you can identify a particular tablet with a particular identifier in. And we tested that over an extended storage period, again, 40 degrees C, in this case, 75% humidity, over a few months. And you can show that the identifier is still stable. You can still identify the tablet. And you know, that basically is an indication that this is a new technology that can be used to reduce counterfeiting in the marketplace.
Yeah, well, I think it's urgently needed as well, because it is quite scary how easy it is to order stuff, and people just do not know what they're getting, and you can't
No,
verify
well,
what the ingredients are that you're taking, and you're putting it into your body. That's the scary thing about that.
and the beauty about this system is you can put it into an existing, you know, open dry film coating, so it goes straight onto the coating itself, or even potentially the ink that you're putting in to help with identification of your tablet.
And do you mind me asking, how much extra investment does a company have to do then to have that process added on?
Well, in terms of they would buy the open dry from us, so it's just like any other film coating, and then obviously the identification, you know, these this testing is something that can be built into somebody's supply chain if they need to as well.
Fantastic. Now, you've also got one more poster that you are presenting, which we're not covering right today. So what's the other poster that you're presenting this week?
So the additional poster is on using is in addition to starch features, which you've talked about being a moisture scavenger. The third one is around using our directly compressible starch called Star Tab in a continuous manufacturing operation. So this is basically showing that when you take the material, you pass it through a continuous feeding process, that the physical and behavioral properties, the flow behavior, for instance, nothing has changed. So you get whatever you have before, you have after it's been through that process. And all three of the posters are scheduled for Thursday the 13th, so this Thursday, and I will be online between around 1:15 and 2:45 to answer any questions. And of course, if people aren't able to attend the event, and hopefully they can, the posters will also be available on the Colorcon website after the event has been complete.
Brilliant. Well, the link to the event will be above the video, so people can register if they haven't already. If they have registered, as we said, they can catch you on Thursday and hopefully see you do the presentations. And if you have any questions for Jason, then you can leave them either below the video here so that Jason can see them and reply, or you can send him a LinkedIn message, I'm sure, and he'll be happy to answer any questions you've got. And I will put the Colorcon website address anyway, so you can see that, because they've got lots of great information about coatings and other areas around formulation on the website, so you can check that out as well. So Jason, all the stuff we say is thank you very much for taking time out to see me today. It was great to talk to you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much, Rizwan.
And I wish you a fantastic event this week, and obviously a fantastic 2021. What's left of it. It's so scary that we're already into May, already, you know, nearly halfway through May as well. So we're nearly 6 months into it. The time does fly when you're having fun, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
And can I thank you all for watching, as always. If you have any questions with Jason, leave them in the comments. Please check out the posters if you're at the event this week, and check out the Colorcon website. And until next time, as always, stay well and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.